The iPad dinged at 11:47 p.m., and my world ended with a single notification. I was in the basement workshop, putting finishing touches on a jewelry box I'd been crafting for 3 months. Tomorrow marked our 15th wedding anniversary, and I'd wanted something special for Elise. The mahogany gleamed under my work light, every dovetail joint perfect. I'd always been good with my hands. 20 years in construction taught you precision. The iPad sat on my workbench, synced to our shared Apple account. Elise's messages usually came through when she worked late, which was every damn night lately. Digital marketing never sleeps, she always said. But this message wasn't from a client. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Can't wait to see you tonight, beautiful. Wear the red dress. B. My hands went still on the sandpaper. B? I scrolled up, my chest tightening with each line. Meeting confirmed for midnight. Jack's working late in the basement. Perfect. He never comes up until 2 a.m. when he's in his workshop mode. I love how you know his schedule better than he does. Smart and gorgeous. What can I say? I'm a planner. See you soon, my love. My love. I set down the sandpaper and stared at the screen. 15 years of marriage, and my wife was calling someone else my love. The basement suddenly felt smaller, the air thicker. I could hear her footsteps upstairs, probably getting ready for her midnight rendezvous. The rational part of my brain, the part that measured twice and cut once, told me to march upstairs and confront her. But the craftsman in me, the part that planned every project down to the last detail, whispered something different. If Elise wanted to play games, I'd show her what happened when you underestimated Jack Callahan. I screenshot every message, then opened our shared photo album. More evidence presented itself like a prosecution's wet dream. Photos from client dinners, where she looked too happy, too radiant. Selfies in bathrooms I didn't recognize. And there, buried in a folder marked work stuff, a photo that made my stomach drop. Elise in our bedroom, wearing lingerie I'd never seen, with a caption, "Preview for tonight B, hope you're ready." The timestamp was from last Tuesday, the night she'd claimed to have food poisoning. I copied everything to a flash drive, then created a backup on my personal cloud account. 20 years of construction work taught you to always have redundancy. If one system failed, you had another. Footsteps creaked overhead. The shower turned on. I climbed the basement stairs, each step measured and quiet. Through our bedroom door, I could see her silhouette behind the frosted glass. She was humming, while she prepared to cheat on me. "Jack?" Her voice carried over the water. "I'm going to run out for a bit. Sarah's having a crisis with her boyfriend." Sarah, her best friend, and apparently her alibi coordinator. "Sure thing, honey," I called back, amazed at how normal my voice sounded. "Take your time." I retreated to the basement and opened a beer, then pulled up our shared calendar on the iPad. Elise's schedule was meticulous, color-coded blocks for meetings, client calls, gym sessions. But now I noticed the gaps. Wednesday evenings marked overtime, Saturday mornings labeled team building, all coinciding with my predictable schedule. She'd been studying me like a blueprint, finding the gaps in my routine to build her affair. The shower stopped. 20 minutes later, I heard her car pull out of the driveway. I gave her a 10-minute head start, then followed. The Ocean View Hotel sat on the outskirts of our little Maine town, the kind of place that charged by the hour and didn't ask questions. I parked across the street behind a delivery truck and waited. At 12:23 a.m., a silver BMW pulled into the lot. Even in the dim light, I recognized the driver. Brent Rivers, the hotshot marketing director from Elise's firm. Mid-30s, all flash and arrogance, The kind of guy who wore expensive suits to coffee shops and talked loudly on his phone so everyone could hear how important he was. Elise's Honda was already there. I sat in my truck, engine off, watching room 237's window. The curtains were drawn, but shadows moved behind them. My wife and her lover probably celebrating their cleverness. My phone buzzed, a text from Elise. Sarah's really struggling. Might be here until 3 a.m. Don't wait up. Love you. Love you. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I took photos of both cars, noting the license plates and timestamps. Then I drove home, my mind already working on the next phase. Back in the basement, I opened my laptop and started researching. Brent Rivers had a digital footprint the size of Texas, LinkedIn profile boasting about disrupting traditional marketing paradigms, Instagram full of gym selfies and expensive dinners, Facebook posts about his grind mindset and living his best life. What he didn't have was discretion. His Instagram location tags told a story. The same restaurants where Elise claimed to have client dinners. The same hotel where I'd just seen them. The same gym where she'd suddenly developed a passion for early morning workouts. I cross-referenced the dates with Elise's calendar. Perfect matches, going back 4 months. 4 months of lies. 4 months of I love you kisses before she left to screw another man. 4 months of me crafting anniversary gifts while she crafted alibis. At 3:17 a.m., I heard her car in the driveway. I quickly closed the laptop and picked up my sandpaper, resuming work on the jewelry box. The basement door opened. Jack, you still down there? Almost finished, I called back. How's Sarah? Better now, thanks for understanding. Of course, that's what marriage is about, right? Being there for each other? A pause. Right. I'm going to bed. Don't stay up too much longer. I won't. Love you, honey. Love you too. The door closed. I set down the sandpaper and stared at the jewelry box. 15 years of marriage, reduced to lies spoken through a basement door. I opened my laptop again and started planning. The next morning, Elise was all smiles and anniversary wishes. She'd bought me a watch, expensive, probably guilt-motivated. I thanked her with a kiss that tasted like betrayal and handed her the jewelry box. Jack, it's beautiful. She opened it to reveal the velvet interior, perfect compartments for earrings and rings. You spent so much time on this. Time well spent, I said. I like projects where I can see exactly how all the pieces fit together. She missed the double meaning entirely. I made dinner reservations at Chez Laurent for tonight, 7 o'clock. Perfect. I'll pick up flowers on the way home from work. She kissed me goodbye, and I watched her drive away in the Honda that had been in a hotel parking lot 6 hours earlier. At the construction site, I couldn't concentrate. My crew noticed. I'd been a foreman for 8 years, and they'd never seen me distracted. During lunch break, I called my daughter Erin. Dad? What's wrong? You sound weird. Erin was 26, sharp as a blade, and worked in IT security. She'd gotten her brains from me and her bullshit detector from her mother, my first wife, who died in a car accident when Erin was 12. Elise had been good to her, or so I'd thought. I need your help with something, I said. Computer stuff. What kind of computer stuff? I told her everything. The messages, the photos, the hotel. Erin listened without interrupting, a trait she'd inherited from me. Jesus, Dad. I'm sorry. What do you want to do? I want to know everything. How long, how deep, who else knows? Can you help? I can recover deleted texts, check cloud backups, trace digital footprints. But Dad, what are you planning? I'm planning to make sure she never underestimates me again. Be careful. Don't do anything that'll land you in jail. I'm not going to hurt anyone, Erin, but I'm not going to be played for a fool either. Okay. Send me her phone number, email, and any passwords you know. I'll see what I can dig up. That afternoon, Erin called back with results that made my jaw clench. Dad, this goes back 8 months, not 4. She's been deleting messages, but they're all backed up in the cloud. And it's not just Brent. There was someone before him, a client named Marcus. That ended 6 months ago. 8 months. Half our anniversary year. There's more. She's been talking to her friend Sarah about you. Really nasty stuff about how you're boring and predictable, and how she feels trapped in small-town mediocrity. My hands tightened on the phone. What else? She's been moving money. Small amounts, but consistent. Into a separate account you're not on. And Dad, she's been looking at apartments in Portland. Portland, 2 hours south, where Brent had mentioned wanting to relocate his department. Send me everything, I said. Already did. Check your email. And Dad, I'm here if you need me. Thanks, kiddo. I love you. Love you too. And Dad, give her hell. Dinner at Chez Laurent was surreal. Elise played the loving wife perfectly, touching my hand, laughing at my jokes, talking about our future together, all while planning to abandon that future for a silver BMW and a Portland apartment. You seem distracted, she said over dessert. Just thinking about us? 15 years? Where do you see us in 5 more? She didn't miss a beat. Right here. Growing old together in our little town, maybe traveling more when you retire. Every word was a lie, delivered with Academy Award sincerity. What about you? I asked. Happy with work? With everything? Very happy. I have everything I need right here. I raised my wine glass. To 15 more years of honesty and faithfulness. She clinked her glass against mine. To 15 more years. That night, she made love to me with an enthusiasm that might have fooled me a week ago. Now I recognized it as guilt-motivated performance art. Afterward, she fell asleep in my arms, and I stared at the ceiling, planning her destruction. The next phase required patience. For 2 weeks, I played the oblivious husband while gathering intelligence. Aaron fed me deleted texts, location data, financial records. I installed a security system in our house, cameras hidden in common areas, motion sensors, the works, all perfectly legal and justified as home protection. I also started varying my routine. Instead of predictable basement sessions, I'd randomly run errands, visit friends, take drives. Elise's schedule suddenly became more flexible to accommodate my unpredictability. The break came on a Thursday. Elise claimed another client crisis, requiring an overnight trip to Boston. But her phone's GPS put her at the Ocean View Hotel, and Brent's Instagram story showed room service for 2. I drove to the hotel and waited. At 11 p.m. they emerged, laughing and holding hands like teenagers. They drove to Brent's condo, a glass-walled monument to his ego overlooking the harbor. I parked and watched them through the floor-to-ceiling windows. They were careless, probably thinking the height provided privacy. But I'd brought binoculars, and construction work had taught me to see details others missed. They were planning something. Brent showed Elise papers, lease agreements, job postings, apartment listings. She nodded enthusiastically, pointing at specific pages. Then they celebrated with champagne and activities that made me want to put my fist through something. Instead, I took photos. Lots of photos. The next morning, Elise returned home with stories about her difficult client and how exhausting the trip had been. I made her breakfast and listened to every lie with a sympathetic smile. You work so hard, I said. Maybe you should take some time off. We could go away together. That sounds wonderful, but work is so busy right now. Maybe in a few months. A few months. When she'd be living in Portland with Brent. Of course. I understand. Work comes first. She kissed my cheek. You're the best husband in the world. The best husband. Who she was planning to abandon for a man who posted gym selfies and used synergy in casual conversation. That afternoon, I called Mick Sullivan, my best friend and bartender at the Dockside Pub. We'd known each other since high school, served in the National Guard together, and he was the closest thing I had to a brother. I need to talk, I said. Bad day at work? Bad year at home? An hour later, I sat in a corner booth at the dockside, showing Mick everything: photos, texts, financial records, location data. He listened with the same intensity he'd shown during our guard service, when lives depended on getting details right. Jesus Christ, Jack. How long has this been going on? 8 months that I can prove. Maybe longer. Mick shook his head. What are you going to do? I'm going to make sure everyone in this town knows exactly who Elise Callahan really is. Be careful, brother. Revenge can blow back on you. This isn't revenge, Mick. This is consequences. She made choices, and choices have results. What do you need from me? Information. You hear everything in this place. I want to know who else knows, who's been covering for her, who's been laughing behind my back. Mick's expression darkened. You think people knew? In a town this size, someone always knows. He was quiet for a moment, then nodded. Give me a few days. I'll ask around, subtle-like. Thanks, Mick. Don't thank me yet. You might not like what I find. Mick called 3 days later with news that made my blood boil. Jack, you need to sit down for this. Just tell me. Sarah's been covering for her from the beginning. Not just alibis. She's been actively helping. Booking hotels, creating fake events, even lying to you directly when you called looking for Elise. I'd suspected Sarah, but confirmation still hit like a gut punch. There's more. Tom and Linda Morrison know. They saw Elise and Brent together at a restaurant in Bangor 2 months ago. Instead of telling you, they decided it wasn't their business. Tom Morrison, my poker buddy for 10 years. He'd looked me in the eye every Friday night, knowing my wife was cheating. And Jack? I'm sorry, but Dave Hendricks knows too. He's been joking about it at the bar when you're not around, calling you poor Jack and making comments about how Elise upgraded. Dave Hendricks, another construction foreman, someone I'd considered a friend, someone who'd borrowed my tools, eaten at my table, and apparently found my humiliation entertaining. Who else? That's all I could confirm. But Jack, the way people reacted when I asked questions, I think more people suspect than you'd want to know. I sat in my truck outside the dockside, processing the betrayal. It wasn't just Elise. It was our entire social circle, people I'd trusted, people I'd helped over the years. They'd all decided that poor, stupid Jack Callahan didn't deserve the truth. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The annual seafood festival was 2 weeks away, the biggest social event in our town's calendar. Everyone would be there, friends, neighbors, co-workers, the entire social hierarchy that had decided to keep me in the dark. It would be the perfect venue for Elise's coming out party. I spent those 2 weeks in preparation mode. Aaron helped me create a digital presentation. Photos, texts, location data, financial records, all organized into a timeline that told the story of Elise's double life. We burned it onto multiple flash drives and uploaded backups to secure cloud storage. I also made some strategic purchases: a portable projector, a wireless speaker system, and a banner printer. If I was going to expose Elise, I wanted maximum impact. The night before the festival, Elise was particularly affectionate. She'd been that way for weeks, probably sensing the end approaching and trying to assuage her guilt. I love you, Jack, she said as we lay in bed. I know I've been distracted with work lately, but you mean everything to me. I love you too, I replied, and meant it. I loved the woman I'd married 15 years ago. The woman lying next to me was a stranger wearing her face. Tomorrow should be fun. It's been too long since we've just enjoyed each other's company. It'll definitely be memorable, I said. She fell asleep in my arms, and I stared at the ceiling, running through the plan one more time. Every detail had been checked, every contingency planned for. Tomorrow, the whole town would see Elise Callahan exactly as she was. The seafood festival transformed our town square into a carnival of food trucks, craft booths, and live music. By noon, half the town was there, including everyone on my list. Elise worked the crowd like a politician, chatting with neighbors, complimenting outfits, playing the role of beloved community member. Brent was there too, maintaining careful distance, but stealing glances when he thought no one was looking. Sarah fluttered around Elise like a protective butterfly. Tom and Linda Morrison manned their usual booth selling handmade crafts. Dave Hendricks held court near the beer tent, probably preparing more jokes about poor Jack. I spent the first hour setting up my equipment behind the main stage. The festival organizers knew me. I'd helped build half the permanent structures, so no one questioned my presence. I positioned the projector for optimal viewing, tested the wireless connection, and confirmed the speaker system's range. At 2 p.m., I made my move. The festival's traditional community recognition segment was starting, where local businesses and volunteers were acknowledged for their contributions. I'd volunteered to help with the technical setup, giving me access to the main microphone and projection system. "Ladies and gentlemen," the mayor announced, "we'd like to thank everyone who makes our community special. Our local businesses, our volunteers, our families who've been part of this town for generations." Scattered applause. I caught Elise's eye in the crowd and smiled. She smiled back, probably thinking I was being supportive. "Before we continue," I said, stepping up to the microphone, "I'd like to share something with everyone. A story about community, about trust, and about the importance of honesty in small towns." The crowd quieted, sensing something unusual. Elise's smile faltered slightly. "My name is Jack Callahan. Some of you know me. Some of you know things about me that you thought I didn't know you knew." I clicked the remote. The first image appeared on the large screen behind me. Elise and Brent holding hands outside the Ocean View Hotel. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Elise went white. "This is my wife, Elise, with her boyfriend, Brent Rivers. This photo was taken 3 nights ago during what she told me was a client meeting in Boston." The next slide, screenshots of their text messages, the explicit ones edited for public viewing, but the emotional content clear. "For 8 months, my wife has been conducting an affair. Not just the physical betrayal, but financial planning to abandon our marriage and move to Portland with her lover." Elise started pushing through the crowd toward the stage. "Jack, stop this. You're embarrassing yourself." "Am I?" I clicked to the next slide, bank records showing her secret account. "Or am I embarrassing you?" Brent was nowhere to be seen. He'd vanished the moment his face appeared on screen. "But this isn't just about my wife's choices," I continued. "It's about the people who knew and decided I didn't deserve the truth." New slides, photos of Sarah at the hotel, helping coordinate meetings, text messages between Sarah and Elise discussing their deception. Sarah tried to run, but the crowd had formed a wall of shocked faces. Sarah Mitchell has been actively facilitating this affair for months, booking hotels, creating fake events, lying directly to my face when I called looking for my wife. The crowd turned to stare at Sarah, who was crying and pushing toward the exit. Tom and Linda Morrison saw my wife with her lover 2 months ago and decided it wasn't their business to tell me. Tom's face was red with shame and anger. "Jack, you son of a bitch, you can't—" "I can't what, Tom? Tell the truth? Show everyone what kind of friends you really are?" The next slide showed Dave Hendricks' social media posts, carefully captured screenshots of his jokes about my situation. And Dave Hendricks has been entertaining the bar crowd with jokes about poor Jack and how my wife upgraded to a younger man. Dave was pushing through the crowd, his face twisted with rage. "You bastard! You can't do this!" I just did. The final slide was simple text. Consequences have actions. Actions have people. People have choices. I set down the microphone and walked off the stage. The crowd was in chaos. Some people shouting, others staring in shock, phones coming out to record the aftermath. Elise caught up with me at the edge of the square. "Jack, please, we need to talk. Privately." We had 15 years to talk privately. You chose to spend the last 8 months talking privately with someone else. It's not what you think. I can explain. It's exactly what I think. You're a liar, a cheat, and a coward. And now everyone knows it. She grabbed my arm. You've destroyed everything. Our marriage, our life, our reputation. I didn't destroy anything, Elise. I just revealed what was already destroyed. You did that when you decided Brent Rivers was more important than the vows you made to me. People make mistakes, Jack. We could work through this. I pulled my arm free. The only mistake was trusting you. That mistake ends today. The aftermath was swift and brutal. By evening, the festival was over, and the gossip networks were in overdrive. Elise retreated to Sarah's house, but Sarah wasn't speaking to her. Apparently, being publicly exposed as an accomplice had cooled their friendship. Brent had fled town entirely, according to mixed sources. His condo was dark, his BMW gone from the parking garage. Tom Morrison confronted me at the dockside that night, drunk and belligerent. You had no right to drag Linda into this, he slurred. She didn't do anything wrong. She kept quiet while my wife made a fool of me. That's something. It wasn't our business. My humiliation was entertaining enough to gossip about, but not important enough to help me stop it. Which is it, Tom? He swung at me. I'd expected it. Construction work taught you to read when someone was about to lose control. I ducked, and Tom's momentum carried him into a table. Mick was there instantly, restraining him. Tom, you're done for the night, Mick said firmly. Go home. This isn't over, Jack, Tom snarled as Mick escorted him out. Yes, it is, I replied. Dave Hendricks was next, cornering me in the parking lot. You think you're some kind of hero? He spat. You just humiliated yourself in front of the whole town. I humiliated the people who deserved it, including you. I never did anything to you. You made jokes about my wife's affair instead of telling me about it. You found my pain entertaining. That's enough. He shoved me. I shoved back, harder. Dave stumbled but didn't fall. You want to do this here? I asked. Dave was bigger than me, but I'd spent 20 years swinging hammers and hauling materials. He was soft from too many beers and too much sitting. Come on then, I said. He charged. I sidestepped and caught him with an uppercut that dropped him to his knees. He stayed down, gasping. We're done, Dave, all of us. Find new friends to joke about. 3 days later, Elise came home. I was in the basement, working on a new project. Kitchen cabinets for Aaron's apartment. The sound of her footsteps overhead was different now, hesitant instead of confident. Jack, can we talk? I didn't answer. She came down to the basement, something she rarely did. Jack, please. I know you're angry, but we need to discuss what happens next. I looked up from my work. She looked terrible. Red eyes, pale skin, the polished veneer completely gone. What happens next is you leave. This is my house, too. I have rights. You have the right to pack your belongings and get out. That's all. Jack, I made a mistake, a big one, but we can work through this. Couples therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. No. Just, no? That's it? That's it. She started crying. Real tears this time, not the manipulative kind she'd used during our marriage. I love you, Jack. I know that's hard to believe, but I do. I got caught up in something that felt exciting and new, but it wasn't real. You're real. We're real. We were real. Past tense. Don't throw away 15 years over one mistake. I set down my tools and looked at her directly. One mistake? Elise, you conducted an 8-month affair. You lied to me every single day. You enlisted our friends to help deceive me. You moved money into secret accounts. You planned to abandon our marriage without even telling me. That's not one mistake. That's a systematic betrayal of everything we built together. People change, Jack. I can change. You're right. People change. I changed too. I changed from a trusting husband into someone who won't be fooled again. And that person doesn't want you in his life. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Maybe Portland. Maybe wherever Brent went. Maybe Sarah's couch if she'll still have you. Sarah won't talk to me. She blames me for what happened at the festival. Consequences, I said, and returned to my work. She stood there for several minutes, crying quietly. Finally, she went upstairs. I heard her moving around, packing. 2 hours later, her car pulled out of the driveway. She left the anniversary jewelry box on the kitchen counter. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. Elise contested nothing. Her lawyer advised her that adultery was still grounds in Maine, and my evidence was overwhelming. She got her car, her clothes, and half of our savings account, minus the money she'd already moved to her secret account. I kept the house, my truck, my tools, and my dignity. The social fallout continued for months. Tom and Linda Morrison moved away after their craft business collapsed. Apparently, being known as the couple who enabled adultery wasn't good for sales. Dave Hendricks found himself drinking alone most nights, his audience having decided his jokes weren't funny anymore. Sarah Mitchell became a pariah. The wives in town froze her out completely, and she eventually moved to Boston, where nobody knew her story. Brent never returned. According to Aaron's research, he'd taken a job in Seattle, probably hoping 3,000 miles was enough distance from his reputation. Elise moved to Portland but couldn't escape the story. In the age of social media, small-town scandals traveled fast. Her new co-workers eventually learned about the festival incident, and her career stalled. Last I heard, she was working for a small firm, making half what she'd earned before. 6 months after the divorce, I was finishing the kitchen cabinets for Aaron's apartment when she visited with news. "Dad, I got a call today. From Elise." I looked up from my work. What did she want? To apologize. To me, I mean. She said she was sorry for what she'd done to our family, and she hoped I didn't hate her. Do you? Aaron considered the question. No, I feel sorry for her. She had something good, and threw it away for something that wasn't real. That's not hateful, it's just sad. What did you tell her? That I appreciated the apology, but it didn't change anything. She made her choices, and now she has to live with them. Smart girl. I learned from the best. That evening, I sat on my back porch with a beer, looking out at the harbor. The town had largely moved on from the scandal, finding new gossip to occupy their attention. Life had returned to normal, or at least a new version of normal. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Jack, it's Elise. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need you to know that I'm sorry. Not just for the affair, but for taking you for granted. You deserved better than what I gave you. I hope someday you can forgive me." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it, without responding. Forgiveness was for people who deserved it. Elise had made her choices with full knowledge of the consequences. She'd calculated that I was boring, predictable, and disposable. She'd gambled that she could have her affair and her marriage, her excitement and her security. She'd lost that bet, and the house always collected. I finished my beer and went inside. Tomorrow I'd start a new project, maybe a dining room table, something that would last for decades. Something built to withstand whatever life threw at it. Something honest